Thank you, Alan. The historic winter freeze, as we saw, killed off much of our local plant life, including grass. I spoke with South Texas gardener Gabriel Vega, who shows you what you can do and use to replace the grass you lost. Gabriel, a lot of people have burned and dead grass after our severe winter weather.
Yes, I know I'm one of them. And typically, installing sod is what we're doing right now. If you're still running into that same problem, there's pretty much it's a real basic, straightforward principle that like professional installers will use, and that's typically they will take whatever dead grass or greenery that's not supposed to be there, and they will remove it, which can sometimes be quite intense depending on the size that you're looking to retransplant the sod. But the method goes, the removal of the dead shrubbery, then the installation or redistribution of compost at about like 1/3 an inch. So you'll want to get that trucked in or shoveled in or in a wheelbarrow, and then kind of dig it out of there, rake it in, and then set your sod on top and water in really well for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that way the sod and the compost make really good contact and you get a really good root system. Now, one doesn't have to do that. I know several people, including myself, we have just installed directly onto like patchy grass without compost. But the reason you use compost is because the quality of roots and the density of roots that you get allows for better adhesion, to the ground. Also, it allows for the water to sink deeper in, which will cause deeper roots. This again can be quite labor intensive depending on the size that you're going to want to reestablish in. So I do have a couple of hacks that people can use to make this a little bit easier. And one of those things is instead of actually getting compost that you're going to have to wheelbarrow in and shovel across, using a liquid compost tea instead of actual compost. And what you would do is basically you put it in a hose in sprayer like this, and then just distribute it manually across the transplanted site. It's one of the easiest ways to get organic material into those sites without actually having to transplant heavy dirt and go through the lower back intense kind of labor that's associated with that. Another thing is if you are going to be putting it over dead grass, say you want to forego the removal of dead grass. You can still set your sod without having to remove it. There are some things that you're going to want to take into precaution. One, definitely use, a compost, whether it be physical form or a liquid form, but also at around week 2 to 3, you're going to want to add a little bit of like a liquid seaweed fertilizer. This is, or even worm castings, something like that. And the reason that is because the grass that you're transplanting over is going to start to decompose and rot away. And the thing that it will take from your plant is nitrogen in order to do that. It cannot do it without nitrogen. So it'll start to leach the nitrogen that you want for your grass. So you're going to have to add a little bit extra to that. Again, it can also be put into a hose in sprayer and distributed for, easy, quick installation without physical, a really intense physical chore.
Good enough. Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you so much.
By the way, Gabriel also tells me that getting sod is not anywhere near as expensive as you might think, so check it out. You can catch the South Texas Gardener every Saturday here on 3 News First Edition Weekend.